Hi, everybody. It's Linda G coming to you live from my house with my new Ethernet cable. So I get good internet, not going out all the time. So it's cray. It's busy, but I got a lot of questions from you guys. I really appreciate you sending in these questions. First of all, may I start off by saying this to you? Think of Ohio when you start to panic. Think of Wisconsin, I believe, is where the judge was put in place that helped kick that Republican hold. And yes, they're going to try to cheat and gerrymander. Yes, all that is true. But just think of the number of people like ants coming out to vote. So don't be panicked. No, this too shall pass. And things are going to work out okay. Also, I want to bring up a point that the Federalist Society has decided Trump's a no-go. They don't want him in. I don't know who else they'll pick, but they don't want him in. What's really weird is I had a vision. You guys might have remembered this. I had a vision of Trump going to the Supreme Court, running to them for help. And then I actually saw Justice Thomas back to him. So he's turning around saying, sorry, dude, can't help you. So if the Federalist Society, who feeds the Supreme Court, says it's a no-go, it's a no-go. I can't tell you who's coming in, but I can tell you they don't have anybody strong enough. And I was just talking about Biden. And yeah, he's old. I liked the fact when that guy said, you know, he was this or that. He says, you know, I'm not voting for you. He said, no, I didn't expect you to be voting for me. And he said, you're too old to vote. Ba-ding. So anyway, I love that. But anyway, Biden's got it in place right now. That's what I feel. You can argue with me. You can freak out. You can change your mind. This thing today with the judge was excelente. She could have flew down on him like you know what, but she said, look, there's certain things that are going to be secured. If you talk about that, we're going to go to step 2. She didn't actually say jail, but that's what she meant. And I see Jack Smith watching him like a hawk. And Jack Smith can say what is considered, you know, secured information. So he's going to blow it. He's going to do it again. I just feel it. And I feel this Federal Society that just put out this notice that no, Trump isn't our guy. And a lot of evangelicals are going up against Trump too. They've just decided, no, he's not the one. He's going, trust me, he's going to go down. Trump is slowly but surely, all of a sudden you'll see his numbers. Slowly but surely he'll go away, but he's just bursting to where his top blows off, like in the cartoons. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, I saw the funniest thing in the Iowa fair. This woman with the big bullhorn, she was saying to Satan, go back to Florida, pudding fingers. And then some guy went over and knocked her, you know, her thing, and she's saying, get the F out of my face. Then a lot of people came and protected her. So I think the guy worked with the Satan. Okay, so. All right, so you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much. And also, God bless, we're going to do prayers on Tuesday, but God bless the people in Maui. My daughter has 4 friends that live out there. It was Armageddon. And, you know, nobody's worried about if you're Democrat or Republican. They just want to be alive. I had reposted on my Twitter where my sister had taken the pictures of the Tubbs fire which was like this with the Armageddon winds, but it wasn't caused by a hurricane. It was like 60 to 70 mile an hour winds that blew the embers, and we were dry due to the drought. And, 20 some odd people died. This is 50 plus that are dying over there. And I'm getting some connections as far as who I donate to. If you guys want to donate, I'll let you know. But I just want to make sure it gets to them. Don't ever give it to the Red Cross. Sorry, that's my deal. I do not. They got overhead, and they give to who they think is most important. Okay. So Ropass said, is there any chance that Jack Smith or Fannie Willis use the 14th Amendment, Section 3 of the Constitution against the menace, which is, I think, that he can't run as president? I see him right up to the edge, but I don't know if he can run. I've thought if he runs, he'll lose, but it doesn't matter who they get in there. Nobody can beat Biden right now. There's nobody strong enough. So the 14th Amendment will come down on Trump. I don't know if it's after the vote happens and he lost anyway, because trust me, he's going to lose. But I feel like they'll say, dude, we don't care what you do. You can't run for office anymore. That's what I'm getting. Buddy asks, will there be new laws put into place in the future? If a president is indicted for crimes, they are automatically disqualified as a candidate. Absolutely, yes. Including Congress as well. Absolutely, yes. And I'll tell you why Congress was going cray-cray. Because TikTok, between Jack Smith and Fannie, a lot of these people are going to get hit. And Jack Smith is licking his lips. He can't wait to get in there. A lot of these people that are causing the biggest storm, they're in trouble. Tuberville's in trouble too. I just did a reading with why did I just go blank? I just did a reading with Footprint Tarot, and she lives in Florida, and she said Tuberville's lying when he says that's a vacation home. They're going to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Tuberville's in trouble. And as I told you guys, keep thinking of Florida, keep thinking of Wisconsin. Think about the people that are coming out in droves saying, no, we're not going to take it anymore. Because let me tell you, a lot of this stuff they're doing in Congress, a lot of people aren't interested. So the special counsel or Mark Garland, who's, he kind of goes with the wind. I don't see him wanting to be attorney general after the second win with Biden. I'm almost seeing he says, I'm tired, boss, I need to step down. But he made the guy Weiss the special counsel, so he has, but all the Republicans are complaining, oh, you're just doing that to pacify us. Yes. And you're just, this is basically they're afraid that they'll still find him, not guilty or barely guilty or whatever. Hunter Biden has some trouble here for sure. And please just listen. I can't tell you for sure. This is entertainment purposes only. But if something happened, and nothing's going to happen to President Biden, they won't be able to pin anything on him, and nor is he trying to get away with anything. He loves his son and he wants his son to be okay, but he did use his dad's name and he thought he was somebody. And he has a lot of regrets. But if, God forbid, they do put him in jail or give him a jail sentence or something, I see Biden pardoning him. And yeah, they'll be all in oh, you can't do that. Well, Trump did it. Trump pardoned all his buddies, right? And let me tell you, if it was Jared or Ivanka or any of his kids in there, he would have pardoned them first thing. So much for the rumors that Trump had put on a pardon for himself. He didn't do that. So this morning, the judge said, dude, don't mess around. And she said she'll have to follow another step if he starts taking information and talking. He's still going to do it. He wants to go to jail. He wants to say, knock that off my shoulder. Go ahead. But it's not going to work out for him. There will be no, I've had somebody write me today. Oh, Liz, did you see this article? They'll probably start a civil war. What are you guys talking about? Comparatively, in the 1800s, astrologically, yeah, this is the same planets that were in place for the last Civil War, but this is brother against brother. This has been going on for a while because of Trump. Good families are now broken apart. People are against each other because of the anger of Trump. So there will be no civil war. I don't know how else to say that. The energy is the same. But you might have a group of people decide, no, you know, and then they'll be wiped out. So it's like that guy that made threats. Oh, he's a hero now to the Republicans, that he was going to kill, you know, like they had no right to shoot him. Well, if you have a gun pointed at you, you have a right to shoot back. Okay. So there's not, I told you little terrorist actions, but I do not see a civil war. What are you going to do? CEOs, people who make top money, they don't want to be involved with that business. They're not going to lose a nickel over that. They want people to just calm down and do their job. I also see the government closing again because the Republicans are going to show their you-know-what. Not going to be as long as when Trump did it. But it just feels like they're so desperate. So what's happening is they know somehow or the other, they know they're getting ready to get hit. Matt Gaetz, Josh, whatever his name is. I don't see McCarthy getting hit, but I see him in the middle of something. Tuberville is in trouble for the vacation home, alleged vacation home. That'll all come up, but it takes a couple of years. So he's still around. But Tuberville will be in trouble on the January 6th. Who else? There's Gomer. That real old guy that's in there. He's really old. Yeah, they're all gone. And listen, I do feel, and it's up to God, but I do feel Dianne Feinstein and she wants to stay till 25. And what's his name? Mitch McConnell. I see both of them like going. I don't know what way you want to call going, or so incapacitated they can't work anymore, but I see both of them going. Okay, so let's look. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Wendy said, I'm hoping Fannie will be the woman that you saw years ago who will bring 45 down. It's interesting. It always showed a woman. Could be women's. I think Fannie's one. I think this judge for January 6th is one. But Fannie is really going to do some damage. And you know, they're making fun of her right now. Oh, did she see? She told Trump, you better prove that I had an affair within so many hours, or I'm going to hit you for threatening a district attorney. This is going to get bigger. Okay. Also, Fannie feels like one of the women. I think his daughter's going to do something too. I've often felt that. And Bob wants to know, how long will it take to rebuild the town of Lahaina on Maui? It's going to take a while. But I see them really working hard. I see a lot of people, wealthy people, putting money in on getting the place redone. It's beautiful property. So what happened was, when the white man came in there and the big corporations, and they said, no more Dole bananas, no more pineapple, no more sugar cane, and shipped it to the Philippines where they could pay people cheaper. all those farmlands went dry, and they got real dry during this drought. So that's what started it, and it went off. You know, isn't that weird? I told you guys that I had a feeling about a fire, where like my fire that happened here when I first moved here, where people were running out. You know, my doctor lived at Mark Creek. He said he couldn't even turn around and grab his wallet. It was boom. Fortunately, my house didn't get hit, but let me tell you, embers this big were flying through the air. And my ex-husband was here, and he put a sprinkler on my roof. Might have saved me, who knows? So it kept everything off. I left with the puppies and my boys. My son Jacob drove. And by the time we got to Novato, it was 5:30 in the morning. And those little puppies went right out. They were so tired. It was too much excitement. So anyway, I felt real bad for the animals. I really did. I felt real bad for the animals stuck in the house and stuff. I know a lot of you guys are like me. I've told you guys, I love Keanu Reeves. Okay, so he did that show, John Wick's. That first one when the little puppy got killed, which is a fake, it's movies, but I can't watch that. I can't do that. So, okay. So they will rebuild this beautiful place even more spectacular. I'm feeling even 3 to 5 years. They just get down in there and clean it up and do it. There's a lot of places that belong. I see them buying out a lot of places. It's going to get corporate, because I see family homes or family businesses that they've had for years that it's just going to cost too much. So they buy it from them and they start building. Really kind of a tourist attraction. Lynn says, thank you for being our support. You are always there when we get a little anxious. Trump loves that he continues to be the center stage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And our lives do not revolve around him. I want to know what we can look forward to over the next 12 months without referring to Trump. Trump is about ready to be a has-been. I can tell you that much. I'm sorry I referred to Trump, but think about the air you can breathe. And we still have bickering, but it's not as bad. And oh, I see Lindsey Graham not doing good either. Sorry about that, you guys. So this judge is going to make sure that we're going to be done and dusted, probably with Trump being convicted February, March, maybe even April. It will be done before the presidential. He's in trouble. Okay, so what do I see in the next 12 months? I see the United States of America standing up for itself and not letting these little Satan pudding fingers run our deal. Did you hear that he just decided that no more long-term alimony? Somebody wrote when I was on this show, they said, you know, women are more upset about that in Florida than they are about abortions. So, you know, women are like, what? I can't get my alimony anymore. Yeah. And you know, the way they do it out here in California, you got to be married at least 10 years to get alimony. I think I was married to my last husband 9 years. He couldn't have paid me even if he wanted to. So, and then they go by the number of years. So you can get alimony. Oh no, what am I'm thinking of Social Security. Sorry. The number of years is how they base it. So if you were the least, see, I paid more money because I earned more money. So I probably could have paid him. But after so many years, they cut it in half. So if you were married 10 years, 5 years of alimony. And then if you're married over certain, like 20, I think it's for a lifetime. So a lot of men like that idea, but they're not saying it out loud. But there's a lot of women I know that are stuck with alimony and wouldn't mind this whole thing changing. But the thing is, you got to consider the age of the person. So, You can't send someone out to work that was your keeper that took care of the family and everything, and then expect that, you know, they can go get a job. Okay. Lynn said, we need 4 horsemen. When will this be over? I don't know what the horseman means, but it's something to do with the Bible, which means probably the end of times. I don't know. Things are going to get better. That I can tell you. I can see finally us being able to take a deep breath. You know why he keeps going on with the energy? It's not just Trump, it's other people within the some of the stuff they say is so outrageous. It's like, where did that come from? So, yeah. A lot of the people who are talking the loudest are going to be shut up. That's what I just heard. Justice will be served. That's your happiness right there. Marie said, do murder victims wait to confront their killer when the killer crosses over? A lot of this is as prophesied. I know that sounds cray. Who would volunteer to die? Well, Emmett Till volunteered. And he's a great energy form over there. He doesn't even have to come back to this earth. And his mother, he said, is a hero. They did something to awaken mankind. So murder victims are immediately covered with love, and they do, the victim, the murderer has to go through everything they did to that person. Usually the victim itself even forgives. There's some energy forms that really want justice. There's some ghostly energy forms that will bug people, even psychics, you know, he's there, he's this, blah, blah, blah. But mostly they are taken to paradise, so they're not as worried about it. It's not about, can't wait till that SOB gets here so I can tell them a thing or two. But they have to feel everything they did to that person and the sorrow they caused the families, etc. They have to feel that. And then, you know, it takes a while. It takes them, they won't be able to jump into another body. Oh, Joyce said she's seeing more hummingbirds this year. They stopped. I mean, they were gone. I thought, uh-oh. Oh, she has 4 feeders. She must be doing nothing but changing. Yeah, it probably gets hot. My feet are over here, but they still come over and they'll get over 104 degrees. Will there be any, my Sharon, will there be any big UFO alien sightings happening during the rest of the year? I just heard yes. I just heard yes, and it feels anywhere from Illinois to Nebraska. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing someone actually having film of it. Okay. Patty cakes. Hi, Linda. Do we plan our next lives one at a time, or do we plan more than one life before we are born? It feels like you're not planning more. It feels like when you go back into spirit and then you talk with the grand masters and it's all kind of laid out for you. You have the choice. You always have free will. So you're not obligated to take another life, take another body. Lori said, do you see serious problems coming with COVID? It's been reported that people are getting sick again. I'm not seeing getting sick where they die. And I'm seeing another belief of COVID, but nothing Armageddon like was what was before. Entertainment purposes only. I'm currently wearing a mask when I go out. It don't hurt. And you know what? Around here in California, a lot of people have on masks and nobody looks at you funny. Of course, when I used to wear a mask, if anybody said anything, I said, yeah. Oh, you don't mind tuberculosis? So, interesting. Patty also asked, will Kushner go to jail? Will Giuliani? Yes. Kushner's a little bit down the road. The Senate is now bringing up the fact he got that $2 billion and they're going to investigate it. It's so funny because they're going back and forth between the Senate and Congress. Oh yeah, you want to hit Hunter Biden? Watch this. Oh, Artist said, do you see if anything will happen to DeSatan after he removed Monique from her duly elected position? Let me tell you, if DeSatan came up to as governor again, he would lose. He would lose. And it's totally not right. I see her and the other person that got kicked off. They might even be going to the Supreme Court. But I feel the way you get rid of somebody you don't like is you don't vote for them. You don't just take them out and then put the loser in. That's bull. So he doesn't like anyone to look at him. He doesn't want anybody to say that he did this or that wrong. He's a sneak. He's a liar. He's a traitor. I'm almost feeling he'll have to leave before he even serves his whole term. Do you know what I just saw? I saw him making an announcement and having to step down. That's weird. Will Eileen, this is Connections. Will Eileen Cannon be kicked off the documents case? Absolutely, yes. She's about ready to do something else that's real stupid. Oh, Inquirer says there's much back and forth about the January 6th trial being televised. You thought it would be, but now the experts are saying that it's very dangerous for the witnesses and the jury, given that 45 is so dangerous. A televised trial would dissuade anybody from coming up to testify. You're very right. Oh, damn it. I keep seeing the TV. Could be just them talking about what happened. They can't shut it down. It's almost like I see people revealing who the witnesses already are. Anybody, a hair on any of the witnesses' head gets touched, it's over for Trump. Because he's the one that caused it. So Missa says, how is Alexei Navalny coping with the 19? He knew it was coming. He's just waiting for the doors to swing open. He's just going to hang in there. He's afraid to wish too hard, but I feel there's a little sense of one day I'll be out of here. Oh, Layla says, will Jack Smith's review of Trump's tweets, DMs, and drafts reveal anything pertinent about the Mueller investigation? I just heard no. But I see it helps with the January 6th. Susie, we can talk about how there can't be a civil war because we have military on our side, which makes sense. But there's some dangerous Republicans in different parts of the government that are placing the wrong people in power over the military. So it seems like they're trying to get a different result. It's still, they lose, losers, big time. They can cause Arkansas. Hey, Sarah Huckabee can say what she wants, but they will be taken down, I'm telling you. So this is an interesting observation from Gray Matter. Curious about your take on my observation about the YouTube community, psychics, tarot readers, their viewers. There's some, he names some names, I won't say. I view, or she names some names, I view regularly. I read the comments on the videos as well as the questions on the community pages. I have noticed that most viewers believe that the psychics know everything about every subject to the extent that they have stopped educating themselves, or rather looking to various news sources such as print media, news shows, science articles, or even weather predictions by meteorologists, amongst other sources for information. I can communicate easily with my guide because I can clearly see and hear them, but I do not solely rely on the info he relates to me. And that's very good. So I know, because I have watched for years, that none of you get it right all the time. This is by no means criticism, but rather the reality, as no one has 100% prediction rate. And I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Now, let me tell you, if you looked at my history at all, the reason I'm even doing this is that I was instructed to do so. You'll hear this again, standing in my bedroom, minding my own beeswax, and in my right ear, a man said, "You're going to do a YouTube video or a YouTube channel." I said, "What? I don't want to get up and brush my hair, because I'm pretty lazy." And they said, "Linda, you will help calm people down." So my purpose as a psychic is to help calm people down. Yes, some people get to where, and it's hard too, because you don't want people clinging to you or thinking that your word is the word. My word is faith, and know that this too shall pass. The guides are just, I was instructed to do this. I had no idea how to do YouTube. I just sat in front of a computer. My son helped me. And I got a lot of subscriptions, and I predict, they gave me that the COVID was coming, and they told me all kinds of stuff that has come true. Some I hit wrong, but it doesn't mean it doesn't come true later, because sometimes you'll say something and it'll be the year later. But I know what you're saying, because it is a great weight to bear that people will be looking at you instead of doing their own. I have so many people writing me saying, "Oh my God, the Civil War. Oh my God, they're going." It's like, honey, part of me goes to get like irritated. What? But the other part of me in the Christ consciousness says, just calm them down. Tell them, don't even go there. Don't even worry about it. In this fear-based thing that we're doing, because think about if I was a Trumpster, how fear-based I'd be. Always on offense. It creates more of the same. So I would say, especially for someone like me and other people like Sterling and Kim and everybody, we just sort of like give you what our hit is, but most importantly, we want you to stand in faith and know that this too will pass, and that there's no real doom and gloom, except I did see a lot of earth changes. But they've always said to me, tell people just to pay attention. Tell them that when they say exit, don't sit around. A lot of the deaths that happened in certain places was because people didn't leave. So so I understand what you're saying. You're saying people should check it out for themselves and not be basing everything on psychics. Absolutely. That's why I stopped personal readings. It gets someplace where sometimes people can't make a decision for themselves. They're asking you, what next, or where do I go? Especially if you get stuff that's right, it's almost like a rush. Oh yeah, well, what does Linda have to say? I do this because I love the people. I love being here, but a lot of my followers are very mature. Some people really get fearful. All of a sudden, they'll ask me something that's like, where did that come from? My duty is to tell you, don't be in fear, and this is why. Okay? So that's my duty. Maybe not necessarily to psychically get things 100% correct. There's psychics out there that, and astrologers, I saw two guys on a show that said Trump was going to win 2020 hands down. And I'm sure all the people were very happy. And then he lost. So I'm sure I never looked at them again. I'm sure later they said it was stolen. But right now we're in a weird predicament where it's liars trying to affect our democracy and our Constitution. We need all the help we can get. That's why I enjoy any kind of reporting TV that talks about the details. Some of these shows will even have Republicans on, just where you're not lying. Just let's talk about, let's look at this. Let's stand back from this. Let's get logical about this. So this ugly can't last very much longer. And then I'll be out of business because you guys are like, Linda, who cares? But again, that's why I couldn't do personal readings anymore. And it can be hard. It can really drain you because people really want you to tell them. Everybody has free will. It's up to you. So I can give you a map and say maybe your direction, but it's up to you to move forward. So, okay. That's my statement to that. Very good question. Oh, Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin, I saw on the Twitter or whatever, Joe Manchin is thinking about going independent, no longer being a Democrat. My statement was, he was a Democrat. He made a lot of money off the backs of his constituents within the organization of the government. A lot of those guys go in there poor and they come out rich. His wife made tons of money. And I don't consider him a good Democrat. I'd be happy if he went bye-bye. But let me tell you something right now. He runs against President Biden. He will lose so bad he won't know what hit him. I see less of a number of people voting for him than for Robert Kennedy Jr. And Robert Kennedy's going to lose bad. Daisy wants to know when the mortgage rates will go back down to 5%. Right now it's up to 7%. Boy, it sure climbed, huh? But listen, 7% was a steal back in my day. When are the mortgage rates? Oh, okay. So this is what I just got. When the new administration takes up, I see them working to help people have homes, middle class have homes with lower interest rates. Yeah, I see it going back down to 5%, but it's about a year or so away. So unfortunately, you know, the home business is going to freeze. Oh, CJ said, Linda, can you please tell us what kind of impact, if any, the latest revelations about Clarence Thomas? And you know who's really crying and screaming? Jenny. She's like, oh, she's in trouble too. She's in trouble too. I told you part of the reason he has to leave is because it could be Fannie hitting her up, but somebody's going to hit her. And then I see he has to take care of it or something. He's already been on there 30 years and it's time for him to go. His thing was he was hoping not to leave until Trump got back in, or a Republican, but that's not going to happen. He's in trouble. He's not going to be around. Diane the Great. So how can psychics predict future if free will can change at any point? That's true. That's a good question. I don't know. I saw the pandemic come in. Maybe it was as written, you know. You had the choice if you were going to get it or not, if you followed what they're talking about. But we definitely have free will. That's for sure. Even when you die, some people don't go over right away because they don't want to leave their families or their body. That's an interesting question. That's something probably I should tap into my higher realm. Because we are heading into some real heavy duty stuff thanks to climate change. And we had free will where we could have got on board and started making some changes, but we depended on our government to do it for us, which most of the time they did. It was all about the highest bidder. So let me tell you something about the free will. No matter what hits you, stand in the realm of higher consciousness and always have faith. If vibrationally you stand still and you breathe and you connect in that vibrational omnipresent energy, you're almost like protected. you're able to handle the crap that comes on you, and know that this too shall pass. So that's all I can tell you on that. I did see Washington having an earthquake, and hey, it's Ross said they just had a 3.9. I'm seeing 5, 6, but I'm not seeing Armageddon coming. Oh yeah, Colleen. I think Mark Meadows is the key to January 6th. Absolutely. That's why you haven't heard about him. He's the big that, you know, it could even be Trump gets so mad that he starts talking about him, and they say you can't do that. You's in trouble, boy. So oh, Libra, about the guides, what did my guides say about Garland appointing a special counsel? He doesn't want to look, he wants to cover all ends. But according to the Congress, the repubes, oh, he's doing this just to try to cover his rear, and it's going to be favored towards them, whatever. I'm telling you what I told you in the beginning. If Hunter Biden gets a jail sentence, I do see. Well, think about this. It won't happen for a while. If it happens after Biden is reelected, or right when Biden is ending his term and he's reelected to start another term, I could very easily see him saying, I pardon my son. Why not? Trump would have done it. Why not? He doesn't have to run again. And they better not talk about crooked, because you want to say crooked. Let's look at that family. So more on Lahaina. Just beautiful. My daughter loved it there. It was a very, very special place. Mark Meadows squealed like a, you know what? Mark Meadows is in trouble, girl. So Velma said I won't say her name, put out a very negative message yesterday. It really upset me. I heard you state in your videos you have heard these type of negative messages. Well, by saying I don't believe them, it's their opinion. But if I get a hit, yes. But mostly I get a hit, no. I don't know what the statement was. I want to say thank you for that. I always say the glass is half full. We will persevere. Listen, people have been saying the end of the world is coming last year. I mean, people have been saying a lot of things. And my purpose here is to give you guys, if I can, the tools, and know that this too shall pass and everything's going to be okay. We are really, what we've gone through as a human nation. I mean, we're lucky we don't live in some countries. We're lucky we're not Russians, or Ukrainians even. It's just terrible what's going on. But, you know, our democracy is so fragile right now. And we got to do everything we can. If you can't get out there and march or anything, just vibrationally look at it and bring it up, because our youth will save us. I'm going to tell you right now, our youth will save us. All right, you guys, I love you all. Somehow or the other, I think time for lunch. Okay, what did I tell? Who was it that asked me if you saw God? What's your favorite word in the whole wide world? That's what she said. What is your favorite word? It was Allie. What's your favorite word in the whole wide world? I said, dinner. Okay, you guys, I love you all. And don't forget, we got Sterling Sunday. And I think I have another show coming up. I can't remember what. But you guys are used to that with me. That dingbat, she doesn't know if she's coming or going. Cheers, everyone. Bye.